Good morning. We are back this morning dealing with more systems of linear equations, this time dealing with them in an application mode. Now, before you hit stop and shut off the video and walk away, don't do it, okay? Our biggest takeaway right now is we're not worrying about solving, we're just worrying about setting them up. And we're also mainly focusing on specifically identifying our variables. So I would suggest, before you get going too far, go find yourself two different colors. I think it's going to help because we're going to do some marking up of these problems within the problem, and it'll make things jump out a little bit more. So if you need to pause me for a minute to do that, go do that. Otherwise, we're going to get going here in just a sec. Okay, so we got Daryl and Deshawn are improving their yards by planting daylilies and shrubs. They bought their supplies from the same store. Daryl spent $30 on 2 daylilies and 6 shrubs. Deshawn spent $60 on 9 daylilies and 2 shrubs. Okay, to be honest, until I get to the portion where I see numbers, I'm not going to pay a whole lot of attention. So I start to see numbers here. Daryl spent $30 on 2 daylilies and 6 shrubs. Then Deshawn spent $60 on 9 daylilies and 2 shrubs. So I look and I go, okay, first thing I want to do, what are my variables going to be? So I notice they both have daylilies, they both have shrubs. So D equals, I don't just want to write daylilies. Why? It could be the number of daylilies. It could be the cost of a daylily. How do I know? Well, they already tell me how many there are. So it's not how many there are. It's the cost of a daylily. Okay? We're going to figure out how much one daylily costs. Then, I guess since we have S, we'll use S for the cost of a shrub. So as we start to do this now, we've got something to work with. We can go, okay, so Daryl had 2 daylilies and, or plus, 6 shrubs, and that equals $30. Now, if I look at that and I look at my variables, this makes some sense. So 2 times the cost of a daylily, we don't know that yet, plus 6 times the cost of a shrub is going to be $30. Okay. And then Deshawn, same idea. 9 daylilies and 2 shrubs for $60. And so for our purposes right now, that's all I need. Okay? Can I set it up? Because this would work the same way that we did the other day. I'd try adding down. If nothing deleted, which it doesn't, I don't lose the D or the S if I just add straight down. I'd have to multiply and probably do my little flip where I'd multiply by 9 and by 2, and I could work through this. But again, lock in right now just on this. And for those of you that have got your keys, I know I went ahead and solved all of them. You do not need to go through and solve all of them, okay? Just doing some setup. We're going to get there. All right. Natalie and Jose are selling pies for a school fundraiser. Customers can buy apple pies and pumpkin pies. And again, once we get and we start seeing numbers in sentences, that's where our focus is going to be. So again, I look to see, okay, my variables are going to be apple pies and pumpkin pies. So A, and again, I look, I know how many I have. So I go ahead and I get this in here. Okay, pumpkin as specific as we can get. And then it just comes down to making sure everything gets the right labels. 6 apple pies for Natalie. 6 pumpkin pies as well is $132. Okay, Jose, 2 apple pies, 9 pumpkins, that's the one I would choose, is $128. Okay. And again, as far as setup goes, that's all the further I need to get. Okay, now when we get to this next one, I think we're going to actually try and work this out because I want you to kind of see how this would work as we try to do these. So senior classes, I'll spit it out, at high school A and high school B planned separate trips to the water park. Senior class at high school A rented and filled 8 vans and 7 buses with 392 students. High school B rented and filled 3 vans and 8 buses with 405 students. So again, what do we have? We have V. Now, be careful. There's no cost this time. Don't put cost of a van. Okay. What's the application here going to be? What are we doing with the van we're putting students in? So, number of students in a van. Okay, so I have to adjust a little bit as I'm doing these. And then we would have B be our number of students in a bus. That's going to be the biggest thing, making sure that we get those labels correct. And so we go back again, high school A, 8 vans, 7 buses, 392 students. High school B, 3 vans, 8 buses, 405. Now again, I know I said we're mainly just doing setup. It says you do not need to solve, but I want to show you one so you can see how this works. And it also gives you a little bit of a replay of what we were doing the other day when we were solving by elimination. I always want, when I'm looking at one of these, first to see if I just add straight down, can I eliminate a variable? 8 plus 3 does not cancel out. 7 plus 8 does not cancel out, so that doesn't work. What I suggest doing at that point, because I know some of you are creatures of habit, you like to be able to do one thing and be consistent with it. If I noticed right away that I could multiply one number to get to the other, like let's say this would have been 4, well hey, 4 times 2 is 8, I'd just multiply this one by 2, I'd be good. But I don't see that, because 3 times some number gets me to 8, but it ain't a whole number. And 7 times something gets me to 8, but it doesn't get me a whole number. So here's what I would do. We're going to flip these front coefficients, 3 and 8. Okay? Why? Because 3 times 8 is 24 and 8 times 3 is 24. That's good. Except, is 24 plus 24 cancel? Well, no. So one of them needs to be, in this case, needs to be negative. And so here's how this would work. We would go ahead and multiply this out. Grab a calculator to help myself out a little bit here as well. So we would distribute that 3 all the way through. And down below, we would distribute that negative 8 all the way through. Now I notice my V's cancel. That's the plan here. So we've got 43B equals 2064, and we divide by the 43. And we see that B, oops, not dollars, hard to see, I almost got sucked in. So we can get 48 students on a bus. And now I got one part left. And that one part, let me kind of put it here in a little bubble, would be to take that number and plug it back into either one of my original expressions. It doesn't matter which one. So I'll just do the top one. So 8V plus 7. I know what B is now. 382. It's 48 right there. So 8V 50 plus 336 equals 392. And now I'm just doing a regular two-step equation to get to my answer. Subtract the 336. And we find out we can get 7 students in the vans and 48 into the buses. Okay? So it kind of lets you see all the way through what this is going to look like. So I've got one more that I am going to do with you here. Number 4, we'll just do setup, because again, I just wanted you to be able to kind of see how this worked on some of them. So the last one, Castle School selling tickets to a play. On the first day of ticket sales, the school sold 10 adult tickets and 10 child tickets for a total of $160. And on the second day, $106 by selling 8 adult and 6 child tickets. You know what we're going to look at first. What are my 2 variables going to be? Well, it looks like adult and child tickets. So A equals, I'm leaving space on purpose. A equals something about an adult ticket. C is something about a child ticket, but what is it? We've seen numbers, we've seen costs. Which one's it going to be in this case? We see the dollar sign. Because again, we know how many child tickets and adult tickets were sold, so it's not how many, it's how much worth did they cost. And so our final part here is going to be, we got 10 adult plus 10 child is 160. And we have 8 adults plus 6 child equals 106. And we're set up. Again, when you get into the practice part of it, if you want to just do setup, you can, but I have given you answers to the actual answer at the end. So if you would like to be able to see that, you can. I think what I'm going to do here in a little bit is I'm going to post the equations as well with them, just so you can double check and make sure those are going good as well. So we're making progress. Good job. You have made it to the end of the practice parts for this week, the videos, so congratulations, and I'll be back in touch soon.